I suppose then by having the library of his alma mater named for him. About a year ago, I received a program of the exercises in which the beautiful new library of Colorado State University was named for my good friend Bill Morgan, the very able president of that university. And across the program, Bill had scrawled a little note saying, quote, "Ralph, don't ever let this happen to you. It's a shattering emotional experience."
By virtue of the authority vested in me as governor of the state of Alabama and chairman of the Board of Trustees of Auburn University, I now have the honor and privilege of installing you, Harry Melvin Philpott, as president of Auburn University. You have been selected for this position by the Board of Trustees, who are well aware of their obligation to work unstintingly to see that this university will continue in its greatness, to be a place of light, of liberty, and of learning. To that end, we pledge our support and the support of a host of others who believe in this institution. This medallion, emblematic of the office of president, embodies the zeal of the university and includes an inscription appropriate to the lamp of learning, which is a part of the seal. The inscription is "Truth flourishes where the student's lamp has shone." I charge you, President Philpott, as Chief Executive of Auburn University, to keep that lamp shining.
State is on the move forward, and this institution has a great contribution to make to the progress of the state. Blessed with excellent natural resources, inhabited by people of vision and determination, Alabama faces the future with optimism and with confidence. We have not arrived, for our aspirations are much higher than our achievements. But it should be known to all that Alabama is on the move. Within such an environment, it is inevitable that Auburn University, as a land-grant college and state university, should stand on the threshold of its greatest progress and achievement. It is fitting at a time such as this to honor the contributions of this university throughout its illustrious history. Over 45,000 graduates have gone forth to serve the state, the nation, and the world. The growth of agriculture, assisted by the teaching, research, and extension programs of Auburn University, has developed to the place where we can predict in the next few years an annual income of more than $1 billion from farm production. Industry both from outside the state of Alabama and developing within the state, has invested $1,400,000,000 in new facilities since 1963. Not all of our progress has been of a material character, however. Grave social problems are being attacked and human relations improved. The quality of our educational program has more than kept pace with other advances. I lead it, huh?
We've got a long way to go. We have not yet welded together in a common purpose the 53 colleges in Georgia. They're expensive. They are quite often inefficient, and the lack of communication and coordination in their programs is important and costly. And the legislature has already approved by a unanimous vote $4.3 million for this purpose. We'll take in freshmen, sophomores, and juniors next year. And we believe that we are inheriting great benefits. At the same time, we are not encroaching on the barrier that exists between church and state. The private colleges are completely independent. There was a time, 8, 10, 12, even 6 years ago, when higher education was living through what I call a golden age. Higher education could do no wrong. Anytime a request was made to the governor or the legislature, utmost effort was made to answer those requests. There was very little close public scrutiny of the way public funds were spent or the efficiency of delivering a certain quantity of or quality of education beyond the high school level. Those days are gone, and they ought to be gone, because we now have a situation where governments at the state level are much more efficient, much more effective, much more inquisitive, much more addicted to long-range planning, and where the spending of a dollar is a much more carefully observed occurrence. I think you all know that governors, legislatures, national party organizations, the Congress and others will have some final judgment about how this can be done. But if we have 37 different and separate scheduled primaries, most of us will not see a major candidate enter our states in person or through media campaigns to present his own ideas to our people, nor to receive advice from the people of our state on how he should act after he becomes president or presidential nominee. This is an exploratory proposal. You might want to read it over at your leisure, and I think in February, when we meet again at the National Governors Conference level, and then subsequent to that, we might discuss some practical applications of it. I believe it's important to point out that we in the South can take a leadership role in shaping the political structure and attitudes of our nation. It's very difficult for me to be nonpartisan, but this morning I made a quick survey of the Republicans on my right, and I think it's an interesting thing that without any concerted effort, leadership roles in the National Democratic and Republican Party in the last couple of years have been channeled remarkably, almost exclusively, toward the southern or southeastern states represented here.
And the attitude of the people in Marquette, Michigan, and throughout that region of our country seemed to have been the attitude of the average citizen in Alabama and the other places here. So I'm glad to know that the leadership of both parties and the politicians of the country have finally discovered this great part of the United States and found that in the long run we have always been as much in the mainstream as any region of the country.
Thank you, Governor.
Over the 2-year period, Alabama will lose approximately $168 million, below what we anticipated receiving for this particular state over a 2-year period, a devastating blow. you can look at the figures for your own states and make a judgment on what we can do in the future to correct this problem.
Morning session.
Governor Albert Brewer came to Birmingham this morning to address the commencement exercises of Sanford University. The governor joined with university officials in the opening procession.
Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of the state of Alabama, the Honorable Albert P. Brewer, who will bring our commencement address. Now join me in welcoming our governor to this rostrum.
The great challenge of our day is whether we're willing to bear the burdens of our times, whether we're willing to refuse an atmosphere of easy complacency, to have the courage to defend our convictions, to be concerned and involved in the great issues of our day, and to have faith in divine guidance in the building of our great tomorrow. We shall meet the problems we face, and we shall solve them, and we shall complete our journey here with a clear conscience. The night will sometimes be long, the winter cold, our task difficult, the temptation to quit strong. But as Robert Frost said in his immortal poem, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you.
some 96 years ago that the engineers made their first study of the Coosa River. And 91 years ago, they made their first study of the Alabama River. And through the years, there has been the constant struggle to bring about the comprehensive development of the Coosa Alabama River system. By 1969, or certainly not later than 1970, this development will be fully, completely done. We'll see these boats. We'll see these boats moving up and down our river. We'll be bringing in new and greater and mightier industry into Alabama, with all that that means in employment and payrolls and jobs for our people and the growth and strength and prosperity of Alabama's economy.
We hope to have the locks in the two dams already under construction, Miller's Ferry and Claiborne, as well as the necessary dredging in the lower reaches of the Alabama, completed in time to open the river for navigation to Selma in 1968. Now, more time will be required to complete other features of these dams. But according to our present schedule, the lock here at Jones Bluff will be open to navigation in 1970, thus completing the 9-foot barge channel to Montgomery. Now, your senior senator said something about 1969, and I'll defer to his judgment because he knows more about these things than I do. And this dam is going to create a fine scenic lake extending some 82 miles upstream. The people of this area and many thousands of people from other areas can enjoy outings either on or near the water. The Claiborne Dam will have no power installation, but Miller's Ferry will have a plant which will produce enough power for 88,000 families. And the Miller's Ferry Dam will also have a beautiful lake, which will extend upstream about 105 miles. This is one of the most rapidly expanding regions of the nation. One of the main reasons is its wealth in water resources. But the supply is not inexhaustible. Water can be conserved, transported from place to place, and reused, but the overall quantity cannot be increased. If the phenomenal growth of this region is to be supported, the water must be conserved, and its uses must be carefully planned and coordinated.
Alabama, with all of its abundance of water, its navigable streams, more navigable streams than any other state in our nation, with all of its tremendous resources on top of the ground and underneath the ground, with the great capacity of our people for hard work and their strong desire for good education, I say to you, let us unite in working together with the rest of the people of our country, make this the leader of the world and maintain that leadership not only for the present, but for centuries to come. Today we see this coming true. We see these fine schools, more than $200 million provided by our legislature in the last 6 years for new buildings and new facilities. We see more than 100% increase in the last 4 years in our educational appropriation to get good teachers and to maintain the teachers that we now have, to give our boys and girls an education that will let them to compete with the graduates of any college or university in the world. We're building our highways, we're developing our streams, building our locks and dams, building fine health facilities. We're on the move for great things. The business of America is unfinished. And you and I must keep ourselves committed to that great purpose and to that great principle. For whether we like it or not, We're involved in a race with the most damnable foe that history has ever known. And in that race, there are not going to be any prizes for second place.
That's fine, Bob.
You all ready? Fire in the hole!
People were killed and almost 50 people were injured when the twister struck this town last night. The nightmare for this town of about 2,500 took place at 7:25 Sunday night. In minutes, the town of Brent was almost erased.
Kansas active persons of the Soul Baptist Church who will not tolerate looting, looters will be prosecuted.
We had just gone in the auditorium from our training union classes, and our interim pastor that was serving us now told us, he came up in the auditorium and told us that there was an awful roaring outside and he believed it would be bad and said for us to get to the basement at once. And of course everybody rushed, and most everybody got there. One or two was hit on the way down. But we hope nobody's serious.
I understand that Mr. Mitchell was killed. Can you tell me the circumstances surrounding this?
Yes, sir. He didn't ever get out of the auditorium. He was killed inside of the auditorium. And of course it was just demolished. And one lady had started down the stairs and she got to the top and she was injured. They've carried her to the hospital, and I don't know.
Now, when you left the main building and went to the auditorium, what did you and your family do yourself?
Well, my children was, come on, Mother, hurry, Mother, and hurry, Daddy. That's what they were telling us, and we rushed as fast as we could, and by the time we got there, glass was flying everywhere, and of course, we didn't get hit. We were all lucky. We didn't any of us get injured, any of the family. It was really rough, I'll tell you. I don't guess I know hardly what all did happen.
there was a lot of roar. There was a lot of roar, and I saw what was happening. And I was almost out in the street. I was coming out alley by the City Hall. So I taken and backed up about 10 feet. And my back glass, it pulled it out, and then it began to pull the side glasses out. And there was something, I don't know what it was, hit the car. And as quick as I could, I didn't have any use of myself. Didn't seem like it was kind of like I was an astronaut or something or other. But I got down in the floorboard and held the brake with my foot, but it still picked the car up and set it back about 20 yards, I guess. It set it back up the hill.
Well, yeah, they're out of money. It's just that simple. They are accepting these applications and processing them, but so far as they know, they don't know whether they're going to have money the first of the year or not. It's not in the budget. The budget's the program's all being phased out for many of them.
Have there been any private enterprises coming to the relief of Brent at all?
Well, a lot of them come making offers, but nothing concrete yet.
What will it take to solve the problem that you have that exists?
Well, actually, it'll take restoring our businesses, which were 90 to 95% wiped out, and of course homes, I don't know how many, but so far as so far as business is concerned, you just take a new city, a new business district. That's what it means.